are two types of people that grow up poor. There are people that are going to use their existence or use their situation as an excuse to why they can't. But the other 50% of those people, or maybe it's 30% or 20% or 10%, they are going to be more successful because they're like, you know what? F it. I'm going to be successful despite my situation.
Can you tell everybody who you are, what you do, where you're from, a little bit about
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Aaron Marino. I run the YouTube channel Alpha M. Also have website alphaM.com. And I basically am a poor kid from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, over here in the States, that just really had a passion for grooming and style. Back when I was a young lad, I realized that even though I was poor, it didn't mean that I had to look poor. And so from a young age, I really started getting into like vintage stores and thrift stores, and I realized that you don't need to have a lot of money in order to look good, and just taking care of yourself and putting your best foot forward really made a dramatic impact on not only my self-esteem and how I felt, but just how other people viewed me. And so this kind of was my intro into style. And then at 12 years old, my mother gave me a fitness membership, and I really sort of found my passion and the thing that I wanted to do for the rest of my life at the age of 12 years old. I just found my joy, my happiness at the gym. It helped me deal with some abusive stepfathers and some emotional abuse that I was dealing with back then. And so that was something that changed my life. Fast forward years until after college, I decided I wanted to open a fitness center, and I moved. I graduated from university with a degree in business management, minored in marketing, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and met a gentleman. We opened a nutrition store. And then I left that. I met a woman. I helped her lose 100 pounds, and we opened a fitness center. And that didn't end up working out very well. Ended up having to file bankruptcy. But something, yeah, but that was okay. It's okay looking back. At the time, it was horrible and dreadful and absolutely the worst thing that could happen to me. But my one of the cool things that happened when I was at the fitness center is that a friend of mine wanted to know what to wear for a date. And so I ended up taking him out, taking him shopping, and helping him with his nose hairs. I'm like, hey, you need your haircut. And so I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was starting the concept for a business. And this was back in like 2006. And so a long time ago. And at the time, there wasn't much out there in terms of resources for regular guys just to get basic style advice and grooming advice from a dude. And so that was sort of the start of sort of a new kind of journey and career and passion for me. And then in 2007, my wife gave me a video camera, and I thought she just wanted to make like sexy home videos. That was not the case. She did not. And so I ended up taking it out of the box about a year later and seeing if I could figure out how to actually make videos. And I decided that, hey, why don't I just put some information out there on this platform called YouTube that I just heard of, and see if it can help somebody. And immediately I was hooked. I got one comment about, hey, I'm a heavier set guy. What should I wear? And that was the moment that everything changed in my life. And I found what ultimately would lead me to, happiness, joy, and success.
Well, I want to know a little bit more about the beginning. So sort of like your original love for style. Where did you learn all this information from?
There was no learning back then. And that was sort of the thing. And looking back at pictures, I mean, style is amazing, right? And I think that really in today's world, there's a much larger gray area in terms of acceptability. Pretty much, if you love it and you are confident wearing it, you can wear what the hell ever you want nowadays. There is no arbitrary set of rules like there used to be. There used to be a more sort of rigid structure to wear this, not with this, but only with this or at this time. And so back then it was just me looking and going to malls and looking at, mannequins and seeing what was popular and really just following my my own tastes and what I, thought would look good and would look good on me. Also movies back then. I was a big fan of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is, for you and a lot of your listeners or audience, will be way too, it's a very old movie, but looking towards, I grew up in the 80s, and so 80s, styles were terrible, but we didn't know that back then. But yeah, so just really just following my own.
Apparently, people don't know that right now as well. The style's coming back. So you've got Italian heritage, right?
Yes.
Do you think that fashion is just in your blood?
I'll say yes, but Italians would probably look at Americanized little me and say no, like we're not going to own him. Yeah, I think I've always been in the style. Kindergarten, first day of kindergarten, my mom tells the story of me being very upset that my pant legs were flared too wide, and so I would take a roll of Scotch tape and tape my ankles to taper them back when I literally was kindergarten. I also had a love for, there are these underwear called underoos. And underoos were like superhero underwear, right? And I love superheroes. And so I like the Green Lantern, these underwear were like green with like a yellow like band. And I was like, oh my God, I can't imagine covering these things with pants. And so I actually would walk around everywhere with my underwear over top of my pants. My mom wouldn't let me go to school like this, but this was like definitely a style statement that I was very, very into back in the day. So I've always been into this. At the age of, I think it was 11, I got in trouble because my mom looked out and I was cutting my neighbor's hair. And so I've always been into this. I also started cutting my own hair when I was about 8 years old.
Wow.
I got a bad haircut. My mom was like, hey, sorry. And I said, get me some clippers, get me some scissors. I want to do it myself. And so I learned to cut my own hair at a very young age.
I wasn't even allowed to hold scissors at the age of 8, let alone cut my own hair.
Probably smart.
So you started YouTube in 2008, right?
Yep. Yep.
So you are like a classic YouTuber. So when you look back on that early content, what do you think about it? Do you cringe? I mean, there's that famous purple scarf video, right?
Yeah. From Paul. Yeah, Paul McGregor. When I look back at a lot of the original content that I started doing, I've taken some of it down. I wish I hadn't. I wish I lifted up, but I was embarrassed of it. And it was because I didn't know what YouTube really was. I didn't feel comfortable like with my own voice. And so I was looking around at other popular YouTubers and they were doing things that were outlandish and saying things that were crude and cursing a lot and just being outrageous. And so I thought that that's what you needed to do in order to be successful on this platform. And so I made some videos where I, was just out of line. And, I just ended up, once I just kind of dropped the act and that whole like shtick and just was vulnerable and honest and let people know like who I was, that's when I started actually being successful. And so, the early days were bleak and dark. I also got drunk. I had a bit of a drinking problem back when I started, and I would get drunk during every video that I'd film. I'd start the video, I'd film them on Friday, and right off camera, I would have like a 6-pack of beer. And, in between takes, I would just be drinking. And so by the end of these videos, I would be drunk and, not my finest hour. And so, there was all sorts of problems with me and YouTube in the early days.
Yeah. Your content has changed so much, and it's good to see your growth over time. So you're famous for being like one of the sexiest men on YouTube.
Am I? Says who? Who said that?
Apparently me, because I wrote the question here, and that's what.
Okay, good. I like it. I need to hang out with you like all the time.
Yeah,
go on.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Be your hype man. So do you ever? How often are you looking terrible? How often are you just in loungewear around the house? Do you feel like you can go outside the house just wearing like jogging bottoms, or do you have like a persona to hold up outside?
No persona. No, I I get dressed up every day when I come to my office, and I fix my hair, and but if it's the weekend, if it's after work or before work, I am looking a mess. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a wreck.
That's cool. These questions that I've written are far too small on my phone. So I watched a video where you said that you had an Infinity P35 2007 car. That was like in 2016. Did you ever upgrade?
I did.
Yeah. What have you got these days?
I went with I had the Infinity before, and then I ended up upgrading to a BMW M4 competition, and then it was a lease through my business, and then this past year in May I got the M850i BMW, which is a hell of a car.
Yeah.
So, and I like that better than the BMW competition, the M4, because it's less stiff and it's more of like an old man sedan, but kind of sexy. And so apparently the older that I get, the more I'm just wanting to just like kind of cruise and be comfortable, as opposed to, gripping tight and, watching out for potholes. Plus my wife hated the M4 because it was just too stiff.
Well, that's the thing that I thought was interesting. You said in the video, I'm not really fussed about cars that much, and I thought you're a fashionable guy. I assumed you'd live a life of like luxurious lifestyle, So
I mean, it's no, I'm not. I just I like cars. I like being comfortable, but I mean, it's yeah, cars are just one of those things where I'm not like super excited about cars. The reason why I got this other car, or the 850, was because I just wanted to buy a car from the salesperson that I just really liked. I thought he was a great guy. And so, it's just like, let me just go and do that with him. And so, yeah, it was just a good car.
So, you talked about, I've watched a podcast that you did last year. You talked about how you get flack from your fans, but for the adverts in your videos. Do you think, so when you were on Shark Tank, they wanted your YouTube channel, didn't they? They wanted a membership with that. Do you think your content, you would have completely lost all creative input on your content if that had happened? It would have all been video adverts.
Nah, they all are advertisements now. I mean, every single video for the most part does have some advertising component, whether or not it's for another brand or my own brands. I'm always, pitching products. And so I used to get heat for that, but because I started advertising years ago. And I think, my first like sponsor was this company that did like custom dress shirts and paid me, $300 a month or something to put their logo on the front of my videos and then talk about it. And so I have never shied away from advertising. It's never been something where I've been embarrassed about. It's like, hey, these products, I only promote products that I believe in and I love. And so, why not talk about them and get paid and help people find, great products. And that's the other thing. Like my videos are all, primarily like geared towards some type of educational, informational component. And so it's, every product that I promote kind of makes sense in the video for the most part. Like I tailor the content around the product that I'm talking about and promoting. If I had taken that deal on Shark Tank, I don't know. I don't think I would have lost all that much, but I just didn't want to take that chance. And I also didn't feel like the Barbara would have brought much value to me in that regard. And I also just needed to maintain my ability to, be objective when it came to advertisements. And so I am, and I'm very proud of that. I've only promoted one product I didn't believe in a long time ago, and I said I'd never do that again.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. How come you didn't, you weren't happy with it? Was it just the product itself you didn't think was any good, or did you just
No. The product, no. The product was good. The brand was good. But it was okay. It was a supplement, and I didn't realize that, people are really funky and we get weird about things that you actually consume and take. And so, that product everything. See, I have a nutrition background just because I worked in a nutrition store. And so when I took that product, I looked at all the ingredients and everything that they were saying was 100% accurate. The product was a good product, but I didn't realize the impact that it would have on my audience, just being like, oh, you're just trying to sell something. This doesn't really do what it does. And so I wasn't 100% committed or sold on the product personally, in terms of using it. And so I shouldn't have done that video, but taught me a lesson, and everything's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good to show that you admit about that, and that it shows that you've got integrity with your adverts and stuff. Some would
disagree with that, but
Yeah, but someone disagrees with everything, right?
Correct.
How often are you getting messages from people saying, I went on this date today, I followed your advice, I followed your fitness advice, I've lost all this weight? How often are you hearing from people?
Oh, every day. That's amazing. I have a lot. Yeah, I get a lot of positive feedback from people. That is incredible. It's also very overwhelming, just meeting people sometimes where they'll be like, hey, I just need to tell you something. And like, I've had, grown men crying and like, I'm hugging them, and it's awesome. It is absolutely, the best part of what I do is having an impact on people and making a difference where I can.
I think it's interesting because most YouTubers just make content and it's a funny video and then you forget about it. But there are certain YouTubers, like Anthony Fantano, sort of one for music, that when he says something, people agree with him and they follow his advice. You're one of those YouTubers at the same time that when you say something, people will do it. Like if you say wear this, people will then wear it because you have a level of esteem in the community. So
yeah. I don't know why they listen to me, but yes.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's amazing. And it's funny because when I realized that people are looking to me for, some advice and guidance and things of that nature, it was very overwhelming. And what happened was when that kind of light bulb went off and I realized that it was scary because I'm like, I don't want to disappoint people and I don't want to let people down. And this is more than just like wearing, a t-shirt or a like, this isn't just about style. This is about, just kind of like life advice. And so YouTube has made me, and my audience has made me be a better person. And I want to walk the walk. And so I don't want to be one of those people that says one thing and then does something privately different than that, because I feel like the one thing that I really dislike is hypocrites. And I think that when we see like certain celebrities or people that are, held in high regard, when they do something that's out of character or out of sort of the ideal that we have built them into, it's very shocking and it's upsetting and it's devastating. And so for me, I just never wanted to be that person. And so as a result, I try to be as, the best that I can for myself, but also for my audience.
Well, I suppose if you're as real as possible on camera, then when you go out into the real world, you don't have to keep up this bravado that you've like taught yourself. Like I met PewDiePie, and he was horrible. He was not nice. I used to live in the same city as him.
Really?
He did not like me. Like I tried to say hello to him and he just looked at me and then turned away. And I was like, oh, okay.
Really? See, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. There's a famous chef that I live near, and I was so excited. He's on like the TV all the time, and I was so excited to meet him. I was like, oh, I can't wait to run into him. I knew that he lived near me. It was the biggest disappointment when I met that dude because he was an asshole, and I'm like, what a dickhead, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, this is an absolute, like, this isn't reality, right? Somebody wants to say hi to you. Somebody wants to shake your hand. Somebody's excited or wants to take a picture. You fucking take the picture. You say hello. You say thank you, because it is because of them that you are able to live this lifestyle and be afforded this reality that is not reality. And so that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is that when these celebrities are just assholes. And so I'm sorry to hear that. I would have thought he'd be like, oh, hey.
Yeah, he had some of his YouTuber friends with him, and his friends were nice. Well, one of them wasn't. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I think people get so up in their mind and build themselves up.
They believe their own hype.
Yeah.
And here's the beautiful thing. And that is one of the reasons why I'm so glad that I did this, like, and started YouTube and later in life. Like, I had a whole life. I had businesses, I had failures. I had I was an adult when this happened. I know what it looks like on the other side of this. So I know what a gift this is. I didn't just start posting videos when I was 12 years old or 15 years old and never had to work or never had to have a job. And so, so I am always hyper aware of this is amazing, but if you fuck it up, you're going back here. And so I think that's my every day I wake up and I say the same thing to myself every day. I have a daily mantra that says, don't fuck it up today. And it's because I know what it looks like on the other side of where I am now. And so, don't be a dick, be nice to people, say thank you, have gratitude, and don't ever think that you're above, anybody else or anything else. Like, you are one bad decision away from being broke and homeless is kind of my thing. And so, but yes, I agree.
That sounds slightly terrifying and a lot of pressure. Don't fuck it up because
don't fuck it up today. Because I think I'm on the brink of fucking it up all the time.
Yeah. So you're not particularly scared to be humorous on your channel. Would you say it's fair to say that the videos are getting you're putting more into them? I've started seeing characters popping up and
like Uncle Barry,
happening more. And
I try, it's one of those things where YouTube is hard, right? It's really hard, and putting out consistent content is hard. That people want to watch is even harder. And so sometimes you just try different things to see if it resonates and just to amuse yourself. I mean, if nothing else, right? And so and just to break it up a little bit. And so, the one problem that this sort of pandemic has had is that it's really limited the amount of creativity in terms of content and bringing other people into your videos. Like, I do this series called the Alpha M Project that I love doing, but I can't do it now. Like, I'm not bringing people in, on planes to hang out with me, for the weekend. I'm just not doing it right now. And so, so yeah, just trying to figure things out and be fun and just enjoy myself.
It's a shame that the Alpha M project hasn't happened in a while, because it was so like reminiscent of like Gok One and like all of like classic TV, and I've missed that. I'm excited about it back.
It's coming back. I miss it too. And when the last season, I'm like, I'm not doing this for a while because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money and energy. But oh man, I miss it so bad right now. I am dying to take somebody shopping and not have to wear a mask in order to do it.
Yeah, true. Well, if you're ever in the UK, take.
I'm coming sometime. I don't know when, but I'm coming sometime.
So you're a businessman as well as a YouTuber. You've had so many businesses. Even at the moment, how many businesses have you got? You've got like 5 businesses or something, right?
I think so.
So, like you said, like you were. What do you think about this ideology of people thinking I can't make something of myself because I'm broke or I'm not part of the 1%? Like it's growing in popularity, this idea that because the 1% exist, I can never be successful. What do you think about that idea?
I think that is such a cop-out. It's ridiculous. You don't need shit in order to be successful. You need an idea. You have a video camera on your phone. Those 2 things, and an internet connection and a Gmail account. I mean, you can set up and e-products. They take your time, right? And you could sell, like, if you have information, you create a course or a download or whatever that other people find value in. I mean, you literally can start a business for $0. And so, that is amazing. In terms of products and selling other products, like I started my hair company Pete and Pedro for $3,000. And that was my opening inventory of 5 products, 96 units of each, my website, my, little printer for my Dymo printer for stamps.com to print out my, my shipping labels, my packaging, my boxes. Like, I was set $3,000. And so, it's a 100% excuse. Like, anybody who like says the 1%, that's a touchy subject for me, because like, it's so amazing to me that, it's not that, people have like silver spoons in their mouths. It's that the 1% is willing to work harder and not make those excuses. And they're not going to let, bullshit excuses stand in their way from doing what they want to do and making something of themselves. If you're poor, that's an advantage, in my opinion. If you're if you don't have anything, that is going to, there are 2 types of people that grow up poor. There are people that are going to use their existence or use their situation as an excuse to why they can't. But the other 50% of those people, or maybe it's 30% or 20% or 10%, they are going to be more successful because they're like, you know what? F it. I'm going to be successful despite my situation, despite my circumstances. And I think that people that grow up poor with that mentality are willing to do what they need to do in order to be successful despite anything else. And so I think it's a cop-out.
It breaks my heart that this ideology is becoming so big, especially around the left-wing side of politics. You're seeing a lot on the internet these days, people saying, well, I can't do this. And it feels like that sort of work ethic of like the 60s to like the 80s of like, we're going to band together, we're going to do this, we're going to make something of ourselves, is being replaced with just sort of like feeling bad for yourself. And it's a lot of people, it seems like less people are making.
We've never lived in a more amazing time. If you want to make money, if you want to be successful, than we do right now. The internet has changed everything. Yeah. In the old days, you wanted to start a business, you needed a bunch of money, you needed a location, you needed to figure out marketing. Now the internet, you just need to be willing to try and then show up every damn day. And that's the other thing that a lot of people mistake. They think, oh, they see people online being successful. They see, oh, all I need to do is this. They try it. It's not as easy as they thought it would be. And so they give up. One of my superpowers is that I have the ability to work hard even when I'm not being rewarded for it. And even when it's not, you're not getting accolades and people saying and liking your videos and content and being like, you're awesome. I have the ability to just show up every day, even when it's not fun or exciting or sexy. And even on days when I don't feel like it, I show up and I just do the work. And if you do that and you develop that work ethic, anything is possible. Absolutely anything.
Good man. Can we talk a little bit about Pete and Pedro?
Sure.
I was very disappointed. I tried to buy the fragrance and it didn't ship to England.
Oh yeah, yep. We're working on that. We're working on a solution.
Yeah.
We're working on a solution for that. We're trying to find a third-party sort of logistics company. The problem is you can't ship this stuff internationally. And so it's a pain in the ass. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to get it to you. Trust me. Yeah. I'm working on finding a fulfiller in Europe that will actually ship it. So
I was so excited for it. We had a big party coming up before the lockdown happened. And most of my friends, we all use your skincare stuff. And we were like, right, we're gonna watch his videos about suits. We hold you to some kind of esteem. It's kind of cringe. Anyway, and then we were like, we're gonna get the fragrance and we're gonna look good and we're gonna smell good. And then we saw that you didn't ship and it kind of broke the whole deal. But
it breaks my heart that I can't. Trust me.
Yeah. So talking about Pete and Pedro, you handed over the reins a couple of years ago. Yep. How's it been since you've done that?
Best decision I ever made. Yeah. No, and by handing over the reins, it was just hiring somebody to sort of do the things that I needed to do. His name's Mike Levy. He's my marketing director. And so he has done an amazing job of having vision for the brand outside of me. I mean, the way that I would do things, I would just make videos and my business was growing, just the simple fact that, people would try it, they'd buy it. I do more content, more people would try it, they'd buy it. And so it would kind of go like this. But then he came in and he's like, you are doing all the sorts of things like wrong. And if we do this, if we change this, if we start doing this, we can sort of scale it up. And it is last year, I think we grew like 35%.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing. We're up 32% this month. Like it's amazing. Yeah. The difference. Just
He's
by getting, yeah, trust me, he does just fine. I needed to just get out of my way and allow somebody, and that's kind of like the story of my life, right? Like I have that advertising agency that I own. And I used to try and do all my brand deals myself. And I had a media kit. And I was just like, here you go. As soon as I hired my best friend, Terry, from high school to handle that, everything like scaled. And it was the lesson is let the people that are good at doing specific things do the job, and you just do what you do and what you enjoy doing. And so, so that's how, those were two of the smartest decisions I made, was hiring Terry and hiring Mike Levy.
So have you done that for the other companies like the sunglasses and stuff like that?
I tried to do it with the sunglass company. I hired somebody to help me, and it's harder. That's a harder business. I need to figure things out. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just, this is my first like product, right? Like everything else is like a grooming product that I primarily sell. And so this is like apparel. And so there is some seasonality around it. My other companies, it's not like it's, use hair product, 12 months out of the year, skincare, 12 months out of the year. Sunglasses, I think, are a more like springtime, summertime type of thing. And, the other problem with that business is that it's just a function of you need to keep introducing new products in order to, somebody buys a pair of sunglasses, they love them. Okay, great. How often are you going to buy a second pair or, a third pair? And so it's just it's a more challenging business. And I think it's a bit more price sensitive than some of these other businesses that I've been a part of.
I suppose you got to really deal with competition. I mean, why would somebody buy your sunglasses instead of going to Ray-Ban? So
exactly.
A difficult thing to compete with.
Yeah, and so it's good. I mean, I'm expanding the line. I just came out with some wallets that are amazing, high quality, low price, affordable price. And that's kind of the thing with Enemy is that all the products are super high quality for the price. I mean, my sunglasses are the highest quality you are going to find for $95. Zeiss lenses, Italian acetate, spring hinges. I mean, it is next level in terms of quality for under $100. And so, that was kind of the thing. Plus, they're custom glasses. They're, we didn't just stamp a logo on a design that was out there. We made these ourselves and made them to our specifications. So it's a great product. I had good sales, but they definitely could be better. And so trying to figure that out as we speak.
Do you do prescription lenses?
Not yet. I mean, you can put prescription lenses in all except the aviators, but you can, but we don't do that specifically.
Yeah, that's the bane of my life. When it gets to summer, I just can't see. My vision's so bad that nowhere does my prescription. Yeah. So yeah, it's horrible. Can we talk about the salon a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
That's what I'm really interested in. I think it's dope. Where is it? When did you open it?
Yeah, it's in my town that I love and live, called Marietta, Georgia. It's a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia, about 10 minutes outside of Atlanta. It was an old rundown historic church that was built in 1848. And it was, it's been vacant for 30 years. I mean, the building has been, and here's the thing, that it's not old for UK standards, but for us here, it's old. Like that's a fairly old building. And, it was absolutely dilapidated, run down. Nobody had loved this place for 30 years. It should have probably just been bulldozed, but I decided to give it a little bit of love, not a little, a lot of love and a lot of money, and made it beautiful. And so I'm really proud of that the renovation, and I'm proud that I was able to do this for the community. And I know that because I did it, and I have really expensive taste, it's better than it would have been if somebody else had taken it and made offices out of it or something like that. And so I spared no expense to make it as perfect and beautiful as possible.
I mean, it looks amazing. I'm
It
very
is.
jealous that I don't live in Georgia. So
It is amazing. It's gorgeous. I'm super proud of it.
is it all men's haircuts or women?
No, it's primarily women. Salon. Okay, so to make money in the hair industry, you need to work with women. Women is where the money is. Guys cuts, what are you charging? $40, $50, maybe.
You pay that much money for a haircut.
Oh, that's what, yeah, you can. Yeah.
£5.
Okay, well, that exactly. How much is that place making? They're not making very much money.
Like this.
And so, no, but women is where, the average ticket price for a female at like a nice salon is, $150. So, you're going to make a lot more on the female audience than men, but we do men's cuts as well. But
yeah, how's the business been doing?
Good. We've been open now for almost 4 weeks, and actually 4 weeks now, and it's doing great. It is.
Lines down the street. What's that? Waiting lines down the street yet?
We are having our biggest problem now is not enough stylists. We have we opened I think with 5. We added 3 more. It's just about getting more stylists in, and but yeah, a lot of our stylists are booked solid for weeks in advance, and so things are good. Things are really great. People love the building. They love the experience, and just trying to find more stylists, honestly, is the big issue.
So you bought, is it your it was your personal stylist? You brought him in to help with the business. What does he do? How does working with him, how's that going?
So the way that it works, I partnered. Okay, so I bought the building. I handled the renovation. So I am the landlord, but then I also am part owner of the salon that's actually operating out of it. And then I have 2 partners for the salon end of the business. I've got Steven, my stylist, who the salon is named after, who basically, like he's the stylist. He's the street cred that we needed. And then my other partner, Tony, handles a lot of the day-to-day, the accounting, the software, the scheduling and all that. And so he's a really good tech guy. And so the 3 of us came together, and we'd been working on this idea for like 3 years. We just couldn't find a location. And so when we found this church, it was like, all right, we can't find a location that we wanted. If we do this, like, we all got to be committed, because it's going to be, definitely expensive. And so we did. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing working out some hiccups and some road bumps, just that happens with partners or people. I mean, stylists are I call like Steven like Beyonce sometimes, because sometimes he's a little bit of a diva, little high maintenance, but that's what artists are, high maintenance. So it's good though. It's really exciting to see.
And I mean, you've chosen to do it. Well, I mean, you didn't know at the time, but it's now probably the worst time to open a business, right? So
yeah, that business though, hair business, and that's one of the reasons why I agreed to do a salon, is that the hair industry is sort of recession proof. It's recession proof, but it's not COVID proof in terms of if the government shuts down and say you can't do this. But even when times are bad in terms of the economy or the recession, people are still getting their hair done. Women are still, they will go without food to not have their gray roots showing, right? And so, it's an incredibly successful business even when the economy is not amazing. Now with the the COVID thing, that did impact, because it did shut down the salon, not ours, but, the old salon that he was at, for a few weeks. Then when they reopened, there were some different rules in terms of, how, the occupancy and how close people could be, and masks and things of that nature. And so with us, because of the space is so big, and because we only have, at this point, I think it's like 8, possibly 9 stylists now, plenty of room, so it's good. But yeah, it's a bad time, but there's never going to be perfect timing. But in order to,
Salon's here, have done terribly, because we're now on our third lockdown. So that's what, we're almost at 5 months of lockdown. They've all shut down.
It's impossible. How do you survive? Like most business, like restaurants and things of that nature, stores, retail stores that didn't have like a web presence, you're done. You just cannot survive this. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking.
So how hands-on are you in the business now that it's opened? Do people find you down the salon, or you're behind the scenes?
Toss the keys. All I do is promote it and handle problems when things break. And I mean, it's not very hands-on at all. And that was one of the other reasons why I brought Tony, my other partner, into it. I needed somebody in there that was hands-on. Steven's great at, what he does, which is hair, but he's not the business owner in terms of, the day-to-day operations and accounting and making sure that payroll taxes are all paid and commission reports are accurate and things of that nature. And so, so that's one of the things that I did was, bring somebody in that once again, it's, you hire somebody or bring somebody in or partner with somebody that can fulfill a deficiency in your abilities or your desires or your skill set.
Well, so you were very open about when your fitness center shut down and you filed for bankruptcy. When it came to starting this business again, because obviously they're both things in real life, they're both buildings. Did you learn from a lot of the previous mistakes? Was that memory sort of on your mind? Don't do this because it didn't work before. Obviously they're different businesses, but
yeah, it's totally different. I learned lessons. With this business, it wasn't really that big of a deal, because I could always sell it, and that's kind of the thing when you own a building, when you own, real estate, you can always sell it. And so for me, that's always kind of like been in the back of my head, like, worst thing happens, what do? I sell it. I've got, an asset that is worth, considerably more than I paid for it or have in it. And so, I wasn't really scared to do this one at all. And I also know sort of the back end. I know how well salons can do. And so I knew that, Steven already had a book of business that was coming in, and him by himself could cover the overhead for the most part of the salon. And so then it's just about, so my risk was relatively low with this business. So it wasn't very scary at all. It was exciting, honestly. I'm really loving it. It's a lot of fun and it's been awesome.
Is that where you're going to get your haircuts now?
Yeah, of course. Somebody made
the dead somewhere else.
Yeah, somebody made the joke. They're like, I posted a picture yesterday of me getting a haircut, and they're like, oh, you're getting free haircuts. I go, make no mistake. I said, I might not pay for each cut, but it was definitely not free. The amount of money I had to spend to get that place, to get free haircuts was substantial. But
I think you've got at least a good 5 years of daily haircuts until you pay that off.
Exactly.
So are you just constantly stressed by owning so many businesses? I mean, I have essay deadlines coming in and I go crazy. How do you own as many businesses as you can and not just go crazy?
You just have good people helping you, is all. I mean, there's stress that comes with everything, but as long as you just have good people around you and you, for me, exercise is a big thing. I need to exercise every day in order to keep my brain straight and not freak out and get all uptight. But just have good people that help you and do their job really well, and surround yourself with people that you trust. That's the big thing for me.
Yeah, the exercise is so good for your mental health. I never understood it, and then I joined a gym before our second lockdown. Went every day for a month, and I'd never felt so good. It was amazing. Yeah.
Now you can just get out and walk or run. So
yeah,
go.
Well, I heard, the thing is, I'd heard you say it's really good for you and it makes you feel good, and I was amazing. Like, no, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, it does. It'll change your life.
So I guess it's sort of final question is a bit of a fun one. There's a little bit of a fashion difference between Americans and British people. What do you think of English fashion? Have you heard of a roadman And have you like heard of like ravers that wear like bucket hats and stuff?
I have heard of a rave, like ravers. I don't know, like I just like going to a rave and doing drugs and listening to like EDM, like
Yeah,
like that's what I think of when I hear rave. Yeah, there's definitely a cultural difference in terms of style. I think you know, you guys have a better, aesthetic in terms of, wearing clothing that typically like fits better. I know that there's a big, trend in oversized clothing now and all that, but now you guys have always been, what is it, Savile? How do you pronounce it? Savile Row. Like you guys, that you guys sort of started this whole thing, and so we are just kind of, we're dumb Americans that that just try to do what we can. But no, you guys have I think a more refined sense of style than oftentimes Americans do.
Yeah, I think our youth dress completely differently. I think as you get older, the two cultures get a little bit closer.
I agree.
But like we have like everyone wears puffer jackets and little bum bags here. And they like carry their knives and weed in there and stuff. And
perfect.
They're
perfect.
Cool. So yeah, thank you very much. I think
you're very welcome.
That's everything I need from you.
Mason, you're a rock star. Thanks, man. This is fun. Now go nurse your hangover.